The rain poured relentlessly on the city skyline, reflecting the cold emptiness of the penthouse where Ethan Monroe, a self-made millionaire and CEO, sat alone. The lavish Christmas tree in the corner sparkled under 1,000 lights, but its glow only amplified the hollowness that gnawed at his heart. Despite the wealth, the success, and the power that surrounded him, Ethan had never felt more lonely. Every call he received was about business deals, every message about numbers, profits, and deadlines. Family was a distant memory, friendships faded into obligations, and the world outside his towering office window seemed to celebrate the holiday season he could no longer enjoy. He poured himself another glass of scotch, staring into the amber liquid, wishing, for the first time, that money could buy something no ledger could, a human connection. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of unexpected friendships, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma's Diary. Ethan had always been a man who chased goals relentlessly, believing that success would fill the void in his heart. Yet, as the Christmas music from the city below drifted through his apartment, he realized that the very pursuit of achievement had cost him the warmth he craved most. Memories of his childhood Christmases flashed before him, of his mother's laughter, the smell of cinnamon in the kitchen, the excitement of presents hidden beneath the tree. But those days were gone, and no amount of corporate victory could bring them back. He had tried to replace those feelings with parties, gifts, and accolades, but they felt hollow, shallow, and fleeting. He was a man surrounded by everything he could want, yet possessed nothing he truly needed. As the night grew darker, a knock at the door interrupted his melancholy. Surprised, he hesitated before answering, expecting perhaps an employee who had mistakenly come to the wrong floor. Instead, on his doorstep stood a little girl, no older than 7, with a mischievous twinkle in her eyes and rosy cheeks glowing against the winter cold. She clutched a small paper in her hand, which Ethan noticed bore a hastily drawn Christmas tree and the words, "Come have a party at my place." Ethan was taken aback. Who would invite a stranger, let alone a millionaire CEO, into their home for Christmas? Yet, something in her earnest smile stirred something long buried in his heart. He wanted to say no, to retreat back into his safety, his silence, but the innocence in her eyes made the room feel colder if he stayed away. With a hesitant nod, he followed her out into the frosty night, leaving behind the artificial comfort of wealth for something far riskier, connection. The little girl led him through narrow streets adorned with twinkling lights, each step echoing the beating of his anxious heart. They arrived at a modest house, where warmth spilled from the windows into the snowy street. Inside, laughter erupted as children played, and the aroma of freshly baked cookies filled the air. Families gathered together, sharing stories and smiles, and for the first time in years, Ethan felt a strange yet comforting sensation, hope. The girl tugged at his hand and whispered, "Don't be shy, Mr. Ethan. Come celebrate with us." It was the simplicity of her words, so pure and unpretentious, that disarmed the walls he had built around himself. Slowly, he walked into the room, greeted with curious glances and shy smiles. He realized that here, money and power meant nothing, all that mattered was openness, laughter, and the courage to reach out. As the evening unfolded, Ethan watched the little girl perform a tiny dance she had practiced for the family, her joy contagious. He joined in the games, shared in the laughter, and even found himself helping with decorations, something he hadn't done since he was a child. The transformation inside him was quiet but profound. He had come seeking an act of kindness, and what he found was a lesson in humanity, in connection, in the power of giving and receiving love without expectation. It was near midnight when the family gathered for a small toast. The little girl looked up at Ethan with a hopeful smile, and he realized that he had never experienced a toast that mattered more than this one. He raised his glass of sparkling cider, not in celebration of profits or achievements, but in honor of life itself, the fleeting moments that make existence meaningful. The warmth in his chest was no longer from the fire or the lights, but from the realization that he could still belong, that he could still love, that he could still hope. The snow fell gently outside, blanketing the city in white, and Ethan knew that he would never forget this night. The little girl's invitation had done more than fill a lonely evening, it had reminded him that happiness is not bought, it is shared. And as the family sang Christmas carols and the echoes of laughter filled the room, Ethan felt something he thought he had lost forever, the joy of being alive, connected, and seen. If this story touched your heart, please engage with this video by liking, sharing, and commenting. Let's spread the warmth and remind the world that even the loneliest hearts can find family in unexpected places. Before you go, leave a comment and tell me, who has been the unexpected light in your life when you needed it most? Ethan returned to his penthouse later that night, but it felt different. The apartment no longer felt like a cold, empty space. The city lights still shone, but they now reflected the possibility of connection, hope, and second chances. For the first time in years, he felt a spark of genuine happiness, knowing that wealth had not been the answer, but the courage to step outside his comfort zone, and accept the invitation of a little girl, had changed everything. That Christmas, Ethan Monroe discovered that loneliness could be broken, not by money, but by kindness, courage, and the simple magic of human hearts reaching out to one another.